That Dad Guy. It is September 23rd, 2023, and it is part 85 of That Dad Guy Answers. These numbers just astound me that we've been doing this for so long, and that every week you guys manage to put new questions in and more things for me to talk about and get a chance to reflect on some things along the way. So I don't know what my favorite videos to put out are, but the question and answer ones certainly are up there because of the communication that I have back and forth with you folks. Well, today, didn't mean to put my hand in front of my mouth. Today, normally I'd be going off to the Mosaic Festival. That was one of the things that I talked about doing this weekend, but I woke up feeling just a little bit not myself. So rather than make it worse on the weekend, I think I will just try to relax a little bit today, get this video out, answer some comments and things that happen to pop up on social media, spend some time with my wife, watch some TV, do that sort of thing. That's the plan. Normally I'd be going to get groceries. I'm not sure if we'll do that today or not, or we'll leave that till tomorrow. But that's where we're at today. So if you hear things a little bit different in my voice, I'm not 100% today. So wanted to give you that clarification. All right, let's get into the questions that you've left for me. And we're going to start the first one off with Judy from Florida. And she says, what are some of your favorite TV shows? And what have you been binge watching lately? All right, well, I love TV. I love movies and things like that to sit back. Sometimes I have a memory of a sieve that I forget what I've watched sometimes, but my favorite TV show is MASH. So anytime I get a chance to watch MASH, I watched it. I've rewatched the series many times. Love that one. As a child, I liked the anime cartoon Robotech, things like G.I. Joe, Gummy Bears. Yeah, I don't know. There are lots of cartoons and things that I watched. Dungeons and Dragons cartoon was out when I was younger. I used to watch that. As I got older, things like White Collar we watched. Friends, Cheers, Cosby Show, all those sort of things we watched. What have I been binge watching lately? Well, I just finished watching Virgin River on Netflix. So there's 5 seasons of that. Well, it's an ongoing show. So currently 5 seasons have come out. So I finished binge watching that. I've binge watched things like Bridgerton, Downton Abbey. Ragnarok was another one recently I binge watched, which is kind of set in modern times, but talking about Viking gods and things like that. Yeah, I have an eclectic taste of things that I like to watch. The thing my wife and I are watching, we have a couple weekly shows that come out that we watch, but we have been watching One Piece on Netflix, which is another anime cartoon that's been brought to life. I've never heard of it before. We thought we'd give it a try. We're enjoying it, so that's one of the things that we watch. Cartoons like Star Trek Lower Decks we get a kick out of. Yeah, I don't know, there's a variety of things. So if you guys have suggestions, leave them, because I find when I get home from work, I work early in the morning, so sometimes I'm finished at a good time, and then I maybe put out a video, and then while I'm doing housework around the house, I'm usually watching some TV. So if you have some suggestions of things that maybe I should check out, leave it in the comments, along with your questions for next week, of course. All right, so thanks, Judy, for that. The next question I have, that's just a statement. We'll skip over that one. I think that one's just a statement as well. Okay, Basil in India says, with a little over a week to go for World Postcard Day 2023, how are you bracing yourselves? Suggesting like attending a meetup, catching up with postcrosser friends, engaging in postcard creativity through Canva, which he already knows about, so he's just suggesting that. Yeah, for me, there are no meetups here on October 1st, So I won't be doing that. I'm not going to be meeting up with other post-crossers or things. The only thing that I've done for World Postcard Day was once again create my own postcard, which I did through Canva this year. Last year I created it at the store Staples. So this year's World Postcard Day is this one here with featuring our pet hedgehog Polo. And so yeah. So what have I been doing? I've been sending these out already. I'm not waiting till October 1st. October 1st is a Sunday. October 2nd here in Canada is a federal holiday for National Truth and Reconciliation Day. So the first mail day is October the 3rd. I really want my postcards to either arrive around October 1st, or I'm going to send out at least one official one so I get my badge through postcrossing.com. So yeah, so I've already been sending out some World Postcard Days. I've already received some. If you checked out my Friday video that I put out yesterday, you'll see the World Postcard Days that I've received already. So I've gotten 3 or 4 of them in already. So pretty pleased about that. And I've got them going out already too. So over the course of the next week and a bit, I will send out the balance of the ones that I have left to send. So that's my plan for World Postcard Day. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it and participating as well. All right, what do I have here? The next question comes from Mail Art Lover in Chile, and it says, is there a food that you didn't like at all when you were little, but now enjoy a lot? The first thing that jumped to mind was mushrooms. I know it's not a food unto itself. It's something that you add, but when I was younger, anytime my mother added mushrooms to either a casserole or in a stir fry, I really didn't like them. But I have acquired a taste for them now, so I tend to add them. Now, my kids don't like them, so I've got to pick them out. So maybe in the future they'll enjoy them too, but my wife and I enjoy having mushrooms in some of our meals, so I do add them. You know, if I cook a steak on the barbecue, I'm going to do onions and mushrooms to put over top of it for us. In some stir fries and some of the casseroles I make, I tend to add some mushrooms there. So mushrooms are one of the things that I certainly have enjoyed. As an adult, even stuffed mushrooms, if you get really nice big shiitake mushrooms, or some of the different varieties that are out there, you know, stuffing them up with cream cheese and assorted vegetables and covering them in Parmesan cheese and baking them in the oven. Yeah, it's really good. But as a child, I wouldn't have enjoyed them. I probably have more of an affinity for spicier food too now than I did when I was younger. Maybe I have a more refined palate. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to stick with mushrooms as my number 1. So thank you, Mail Art Lover. The next question comes from Amber in Missouri, or Show Me Some Snail Mail, as she goes by. And it says, what is your favorite sport? And she says, I used to hate watching sports, but I've really become a baseball and hockey fan. So those two right off the bat are my go-to sports. The New York Yankees is my favorite team with baseball, even though this year has been a very hard year to follow. They've had a ton of injuries and just haven't performed to where I would like to see them perform to. So they're actually going to miss the playoffs this year. So sad about that. My favorite player on the team right now, of course, is the captain, Aaron Judge. He was off for almost a third of the season with an injury, and so he still has managed. Last night he hit 3 home runs. He's the first Yankee player ever to have 2 multiple 3 home run games in a season, so he accomplished that feat yesterday. So he's got 35 home runs on the season. It would be nice with the 6 or 8 games that are left for him to reach 40. It'd be something small to cheer for. Also, Garrett Cole has had a great pitching season, so it would be nice if he won the Cy Young. So those are the 2 things that I'm cheering for, even though my Yankees are not going to go on into the postseason. And then when it comes to hockey, I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan. So that's been tough too, because we haven't made it to and won the Stanley Cup since 1993. Many of those years we've not made the playoffs, or we've made the playoffs and got eliminated early on. We've been in a rebuilding, trying to find ourselves as a team for a little while now. So yeah, the teams I'm cheering for of late have not been doing well. I'm also a New York Knicks fan when it comes to basketball. I love basketball. My son got me reinvigorated in basketball, as he's a basketball player. New York Knicks haven't been in the conversation since the 70s, but I still struggle along with them. And yeah, so I love sports, but those are the three big ones that I follow. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan when it comes to um, football, and I think most of my sports alliances have been a direct influence from my brother. When I was younger, he would buy me all sorts of Pittsburgh Steelers things like helmets or scarves or toques or jerseys, probably even before I knew who played for the Pittsburgh Steelers or what they were doing. This would have been in the early 80s, mid 80s he was doing this, so that's what got my attention and focus on the Pittsburgh Steelers, which was funny because he's a New York Giants fan, so I'm not sure why he didn't indoctrinate me to become a Giants fan. He loved everything New York, so he was a New York Yankees fan, and that's where my passion for the Yankees came from as a direct result of him. My Montreal Canadian fandom came from me going to university in Montreal. So I really didn't become a hockey fan until the early 90s. And at that time, I just, everything Montreal, and went to the Forum, and they had the All-Star game there that year, and they ended up winning the Stanley Cup that year. And so I jumped on the bandwagon with the Montreal Canadiens just as the wheels fell off the wagon, I guess, but I've stayed on since. So it was a good year to get on the wagon, but it all went downhill after that. And then, yeah, so that's how my sports world looks. As far as things like international football or soccer, as you would, I don't really follow it. My father is a Chelsea fan because that's where he's from. So if I am to watch anything or to look at it over, I'd be looking at Chelsea to see how they did. But really, I don't follow anything else. But when it comes to Olympics, I'm all on board. I will watch figure skating. I'll watch curling. Any of the Winter Olympics when Canada is participating. When it comes to the Summer Olympics, we're watching who's the fastest man in the world. So Canadians, whatever sports that Canadians are in, I am cheering them on as best I can. So every 2 years, I guess, we've got the Olympics now, whether winter or summer, they alternate. And so yeah, I like getting on board there and seeing what athletes are doing. I better move on to the next question, but thank you. Talked about sports a long time. Thank you, Amber. The next question I have comes from Pert Fan, so PEARTFAN 76028, and he says, or they say, today in a work meeting I accidentally looked at super smart when I knew that CCCP means USSR in the Latin alphabet. I only know this fact because of philately. Has this hobby ever been accidentally fortuitous in a similar way to you? So as a stamp collector, no, I would say, because I am a novice when it comes to that. Even some of the names that are on stamps, I regularly mess up, whether it's Hungary or Switzerland. Sometimes I make a mistake, so I wouldn't say that I've been fortuitous that way. What I've been fortuitous with is that through the YouTube community and through the communities of either post-crossing or stamp collecting, I have found some amazing friends and started some great pen pals, and they've been very supportive and have helped me along the way, and give me ideas for things to do, and to research as far as new videos, and to try to share new things. So my fortuitousness in the hobby comes from the people that have surrounded themselves and who are helping me out and corresponding with me. So I really appreciate that. Well, those are all the questions I have for this week. So you know what to do. You need to write a question down in the comment fields of this video, and I will answer it next week. I am going to remind you, though, that there is a monthly question. So the first Saturday of every month, I ask a question of you, and then the following first Saturday, I read off those answers. So this month's question is, what is the fall activity you enjoy the most in your area? And you can send the postcard responses to my address in the video. I've received a couple responses already. So I look forward to on the, what are we here? We're the 29th of September. So does that mean, yes, it means that on, is that true? Sorry. Yeah, we're getting really close to having, we're 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away from finding out what these answers are on October the 7th. So yeah, you've got time. If you want to respond, send me in a card and I will read them then. So that's what we got going on. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, like, leave a comment, and tell all your friends. That's what we want to do from here. Getting positive feedback is always helpful. We are getting very close to my original goal of 1,000 subscribers. As the filming of this, I'm at 977, and so I'm curious to see when I will get there, whether I'll get there before October, whether it'll be before Christmas. I don't know how long it's going to take, but when we get there, we'll probably do something special for it. That's all I've got for today. I'm going to start to rest my voice now and rest my brain. I'll edit the video, get it out there so you guys can enjoy it, hopefully. And I look forward to reading any responses that you guys have to it. All right, have a magical week. What, Polo? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
Bye.